ready to go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're working on a Honda HRN216. Now, it won't start, and I'm not sure why, but this is a really good-looking mower, and it's only about 2 years old. Now, I picked it up a couple of days ago, and the guy told me it just won't start, and he bought it originally for his yard and decided he needed a zero-turn because it just wasn't big enough of a mower. So, let's go take a look at it. All you new people out there, go ahead and subscribe. It's free, and we really do appreciate it. And let's get to work. So the first thing we're going to do is look for spark. If we don't have any spark, we don't have any lawnmower. Come on, buddy. There you go. I'm looking for a new spark checker. I don't love this one, but it works. Problem is you can't see it when you're pulling the handle. Let's give it a pull and see what we've got. Okay. Okay, now that we know we've got spark, that tells us both that the spark plug works and the kill switch is correct and the ignition's correct. I guess it tells us all three things, doesn't it? So the next thing we're going to head for is the gas tank. Let's see what the gas looks like. And the gas is it's there and it looks kind of yellow. So let's dump the gas out and see if new gas will save us. You never know. Sometimes you get lucky. I'm not going to call something a carburetor problem until I've tried everything else. Of course, we joke around that it's always the carburetor. Okay, the tank looks really clean, looks really good. Okay, let's look inside the tank. There you go. Where's my light at? That looks good. I can focus. Ah, very nice. Not loving that LED light. There we go. Now the filter looks really good and the tank looks really clean. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go ahead and rebuild the carburetor and see if that saves us. With one of these Honda motors, if you've got a 10 millimeter, you've got the keys to the castle. So let's find our 10. I think you're a 10. You're an 11. Okay, you're a 10. So the air filter looks, looks a little old. We'll go ahead and put an air filter on it while we're at it. Let's pull it apart and see what we've got. Okay. Now this, lucky for us, is a super easy carburetor to work on. There's not much to this at all. A little bit tricky to take off, but easy to clean, easy to put back together. Grab my handy dandy tools. I'll get a magnet for this in just a second. Pull the first clamp off. I think it's got those little wire clamps that just don't like to let go. So I'll take whichever one's easy to get to. There you go, that one's coming off. It's coming off a little at a time. Okay, and pop. There she goes. Now next in line is to get all the linkage. And in this case, the linkage is easy peasy. As you can see, just this one bar and just this one spring. So let's take her over to the bench and clean her up and run her through the ultrasonic and see if we can't save this bad boy. Okay, to pull the bowl off, if you guessed 10 millimeter, you guessed right. And we knew we were going to lose a little bit of gas. But if you have a little bit of gas in here, that tells you the float's operating correctly. If it were flooding the engine, you'd have leaks. So we got our float, we got everything. Okay, let's go ahead and pull the jet out. And we'll give her a nice bath. I think the only thing we're going to need on this one's an air filter. Other than that, everything's pretty fixable. Just right at the edge. There it goes. And if you look closely at it, you can see a little bit of ugliness right there. And looking inside, it's completely clogged. If that doesn't scare us, what we'll do is we'll take our little wire. We've talked about this before. This is floral wire from a craft store. You can get that just about anywhere. Have some spin the jet around on it. Now the jet's cleared. So I'm going to go ahead and put her in the ultrasonic, and I'll see you shortly. Okay, let's drop our carb in. I cleaned up the outside a little bit before I threw her in. Toss our needle in our little basket. And toss her in. Close enough. Okay, and even though the float bowl looks nice, whoop. Even though the float bowl looks okay, we're going to toss her in too. Might as well make the whole thing look good. Now it's heating up, so as soon as it's done heating up, I'll turn her on. So I'll see you guys in about an hour. Okay, that takes care of that. So let's go ahead and run a wire through all our passages and make sure we're nice and clear. And this only takes a second. I'm going through the center jet right there. I felt it go through. There we go. Make sure our side hole's clear. Go through our second idle. And the ultrasonic usually does a really good job of taking care of these jets. But you don't want to go through the aggravation of having to take the carb back off later. This one comes off and goes on really easy, but still. Doing it twice is no fun too. Definitely a lot easier than your standard issue old world Honda carburetors. Okay, I'm going to go blow the holes out and we'll be back in a second. Okay, now that we've got her all blown out, let's go ahead and stick her back together. This only takes a second. And if you're doing this without an ultrasonic, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You're going to want to put a lot of air and a lot of carb cleaner through all the passages. I couldn't even imagine doing it without one. Saves you a whole lot of time and effort, and it's much more thorough. I actually had one a few days ago where somebody cleaned the outside with carb cleaner and then sprayed down the middle with carb cleaner and told me that he had cleaned the carburetor. Now, this wasn't somebody who even pretended that he was good at it. And I told him that might not be perfect. And he said, yeah, I know. He said, it's not as good as when you do it. Whoops. Almost had to put the jet all the way down the middle. That'd be funny, but more work than it has to be. So make sure your jet, when it goes in, goes nice and snug. You're not setting any world's records tightening it, but you want to make sure that she's all the way in nice and tight. That should do it. See, I could have put it in there, and I started to, but then changed my mind. Okay, let's tighten the bowl back on. She's ready to go on. And that's it. With a little bit of luck, we've got a ready-to-go Rockstar carburetor. So let's go put her back on the mower. Perfect. Okay. Now this is the part where you really start liking these little Hondas, the new ones. I prefer working on the old Briggs Quantum engines if I have a choice, but it's mostly because they're just so simple to take off and put back together. Now the Briggs with the plastic carburetors are pretty easy too, but the Quantums are the rock stars of ease. Let's make sure our spring's not tangled up around this. If you tie it up, it might idle funny. Get our springs free. She's in the hole. We'll slip her back on, and we'll do the fuel line last. We'll just leave this as is for now. Let's go over, around, and under. Make sure everybody's where they belong. Yes, they are. Okay. Oh. Yep, that's correct. Never hurts to double check. You just never know. Let's put our gasket back on. Perfect. Let me get the fuel line. Okay, let's put the fuel line back on. And there we go. Now, once we put the airbox on, supposedly this will run pretty good. Your little crankcase vent hose goes way underneath in there. There it is. Okay. Let's stuff the air cleaner on and put some bolts on and see how she runs. I went ahead and put some clean gas in it, so with a little bit of luck, she'll one pull and run like a charm. And one thing I do like about these new Hondas is starting them. You don't have to pull them as hard. Some people pull the mowers. They don't quite have the oomph to pull them really hard. And so they pull the cord really kind of slow. And this mower doesn't seem to mind when you do that. It still starts pretty good when you pull the cord slow. So let's open up the door and pull the cord slow. As always, I expect her to start on the first pull. Well, let's find out. Man, she sounds good. Okay, let's take her out and cut a little bit. I don't have anything to cut, but we have to test our propulsion system. Okay. Starts up real good, sounds real good. This thing is a rock star. Very, very, very nice. The only thing she needs now is a bath. That one came out really nice, and she looks really good now. When you're working on these Honda motors, especially the new ones, you got to watch. There's a little Phillips screw on the top of the carburetor, and I'm not sure I showed that clearly, but you want to remove it and run the wire through it before you put it through the ultrasonic. So that one was pretty fun, and she came out really nice, and she's already sold, and she's only been done for about an hour. So thank you for watching, and for all you new people out there, go ahead and subscribe. Like I said before, it's free, and we appreciate it. We'll see you next time.